Gentlemen, we are back for the Mandalorian Season 2 finale. It was epic. It was more than I personally asked for. And it just hit me in the soul, to be completely honest with everybody.
I wasn't expecting.
Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first? Before I start,
honestly, everybody wants to go first. I know that. But here's the thing. Let's be polite. And Miguel was already starting.
All I was gonna say real quick was I wasn't expecting what I saw.
Neither was I.
Okay, I concur.
Like they did such a phenomenal job of keeping the season finale a secret, which is so hard these days with people like us who like to go in and see things and have it all spoiled for us. I'm not talking about you, Ed. I'm not talking about you.
Like you guys you saw the eyebrow show and the freaking head nod. I gave the puppy nod. I was like,
I'm not talking about
what?
You. But clearly this is what we do, and this is what we want to do for a living. So unfortunately, things are gonna get spoiled for us. It's the way of the business.
Yeah, it's part of.
Well,
the
not
business.
if we watch our early reviews. If we do our due diligence and watch the early access we get, then it's fine because no one spoiled it for me. But then we have to worry about spoil. I'm saying, well, we're trying, right, Ozzy?
Disney kind of stingy, man. Disney. I've been trying to reach out to Disney, like, yo, like, fam, hook it up. Like we cover your content on a weekly basis. Like, hook us up. No.
We're getting there. I swear.
No.
They put a microchip in your head, and as soon as you start spoiling something, your brain explodes.
Oh yeah, they got the Mickey Mouse snipers everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what we dubbed them last time? I think Miguel said that he was like Mickey's over here sniping people and shit.
But
you spoiled it.
Yo, but like
that was good.
Y'all don't see when Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo end up at like cons, like they have to go with a secret Disney enforcer who tackles them to the ground and stops them from talking. Like,
no, well, they did say they
that?
pair them. They
No.
usually say they do pair them with the other actors that are better at keeping secrets. They've said that. They're like, that's why like they had like he had
that's
those
why Benedict
couple.
Cumberbatch. That's why
Thank
Benedict
you. Yeah.
Cumberbatch. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just about to say
Yeah.
that one. That was like one of the more recent ones, and he was
the
like, "This is
Disney-
why I'm with this guy, so I don't spoil anything."
He's the
Oh,
Disney
just like
tackler.
how fucking Mark Ruffalo spoiled the ending to Infinity War. Yeah, the Don Cheadle was like, yo, like, dude, like, fucked up.
Yeah, apparently, one time Mark Ruffalo left his live stream on in his phone, his pocket for Ragnarok, and then someone actually came down into the movie theater to say, "Hey, you had to turn off your phone." He's like, "It is off." They were like, "No, it's on live stream still," and he's like, "Oh shit!" And then he was like, "It totally wasn't planned. I didn't know how to turn it off, and it was just one of those things, and it was just funny."
That's
but
crazy to me, bro.
it's part of it is great publicity. I don't see anything wrong with it.
So in a world
Spoilers.
where spoilers are abundant and they're coming from everywhere, it was very refreshing to watch something and be actually surprised by what I saw.
With the exception of myself, as I was telling you guys earlier off air.
No, you were telling me.
I was telling Miguel.
No, you mentioned it. Yeah, you mentioned
did he?
it. I
Did
think
he tell you
Ebony
guys?
probably didn't
I don't
hear
know
it
if
actually
everybody
because she
heard
didn't
it,
have the
but I will
audio.
repeat it for our listeners.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
I stayed off social media all day today. That was part of the plan for yesterday. I'm like, you know what? Mando's coming out Friday. I'm going to stay off social media. Even though I got shit to post, I'm going to stay off social media because I know people like to go on Twitter, post everything. Then they want to go on Instagram and post everything. I'm going to stay off because I want to be surprised. As I'm watching the episode, as I launch the episode, I get an alert on my phone from comicbook.com. Mark Hamill talks about that cameo in the Mandalorian Season 2 finale. I'm just like, fam, bro. Like, you really don't spoil that for me,
No
bro.
matter how hard you tried.
Like,
You know what? I think
it's
it helped
like Thanos
me.
says, destiny arrives all the same, literally.
Yeah. I think the only thing that helped me because, like, well, first off, you guys had to tell me that it doesn't show at midnight in the East Coast, right?
Nope.
So I was like really upset about that. But then I think it helped with the fact that I ended up still, my regular day. We woke up by 6:30, 7 o'clock. Once we took care of the dogs and got that shit done, we were just like, we went right onto Mando. And then, from that moment this morning, I was hyped for the first few hours before work. Then when work started, it fucked everything up. But that hour when I started watching Mando at like 7:30 a.m., it was just glorious. It was pure, not even just nostalgia. It's the what's the drug? It's pure euphoria. There it is. Ecstasy. Yeah, I had both of them. I like both of those words. They're both so
adrenaline,
right? Nah, I wasn't even. Well, it might as well
I'm like Euphoria's a drug.
Euphoria is the
HBO series.
but it's the term. The term means content from contentment, how good you feel from it. That's euphoria. But then yes, the actual ecstasy is what gives you euphoria, the feeling of euphoria. So yeah, but yeah, I think
don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, don't do drugs, guys. We're not talking about these things. Except if it's legal.
That's a new segment.
Yes, except if it's legal.
Freaking Eddie's out here. Yeah, yo, ecstasy gives you that feeling. I'm like, stop.
This is what I've Googled. But I'm just saying, again, I think back to The Mandalorian, honestly, this episode definitely, capped it off to a point that it was just pure happiness. It was just everything. Little gripe, and that's, just obviously, we expected that when they did it, but happy as fuck. I have not enjoyed television this much in a long time. I can say. Well,
what was the gripe?
CGI.
Oh, okay. I'm
you're talking about that specific moment?
Yeah.
The CGI?
Yep. That's all.
Makes sense, yeah.
Worst of it. And me and Ebony actually talked about it earlier, and I'm just like, my worst of it. But that's just because, we're perfectionists. You know what I mean? And but at the same time, we knew that technology is still not perfect yet.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it used in Endgame. And it's not,
exactly.
It was even wacky then.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you also saw it in Justice League.
Well, and to stay on par, what we're talking about, we saw it in. And to stay on par, we saw it in Rogue One. So you know what I mean, at the very end too. So there's a lot of examples, we know it's not perfect.
It was good in Rogue One. In Rogue One, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't horrible. It
They
wasn't
did that for
horrible.
Princess Leia, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Honestly, though, considering the circumstances, Mark Hamill is 102 years old. They did a pretty
Stop.
good job.
Whoa.
Can you stop? What?
Wow.
This is a fresh, young 18-year-old dude. I think they did a good job. I will say it was weird. It was very offsetting because, the human eye, when they see something like that, they can register that it's not natural, the way you would see plastic surgery. But for the sake of the story, it still gave me that visceral reaction of whoa, that's really him. I can't believe it. So they did a good job overall. And just to kind of touch on what Ed said, I thought it was a great show. I had to work early this morning, and I actually woke up at 5 a.m. and watched it. And for me to be up that early is already just disrespectful. But I was so excited to watch that at that time of day because it was that good. It was a thrill. It was a very fun episode, and just the tension leading up to the reveal of who it was to get Grogu was just awesome. And I think overall they did a wonderful job to cap that season.
I agree.
And then just set you up for more to come because that after credits scene.
So
I had to tell you guys,
with
by the
that
way,
being
I'm
said, you got
just
something
throwing
else to
out my
say
credit.
before we jump into spoilers?
Anything else? Oh, for me or
I thought you were
Ebony?
saying something.
Ed and Eb sound the same.
I know, yeah. That's what I thought. I was I thought you were letting her get one more. But okay, I will say this because I don't want anybody to take it from me. But I don't know about you guys, but that whole scene when he does make his cameo, reminiscent to Rogue One's Darth Vader crawl.
Of course.
So I thought it was beautiful because they did that, and it was exactly what I needed to see. It was just everything about it, and of course, obviously those the Dark Troopers. They remind me of Rockin' Sock'em Robots.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Especially when they were trying to break into the room.
I loved it still. I still loved it, but it was just like it was funny. But I'm like, I love
How is that menacing?
They did look really menacing though. I did give it that.
It looked
When they were actually fighting, yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't look very I like it looked okay. So when Mando is fighting the Rock'em Sock'em Robots, as I will officially be calling them from now on, as Mando is fighting the Rock'em Sock'em Robots and he's just getting knocked in the face, I was like, yo. But then he did the thing, and I was like, oh, yes, he did the thing.
He did the thing.
But then the thing got undone, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
You're screwed now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, so let's just give.
My headphones started cracking up, so I can't hear
before we
Miguel.
jump
You
into.
didn't like me talking about the things?
We'll get into the things. So let's give a proper spoiler warning to all our listeners. You've been warned. Spoiler warnings from this point onward.
Man, that's crazy. The spoiler warning sounds like the zombie apocalypse warning.
So when you're
like a
talking
warning for
about that, elaborate, Miguel, if you want to elaborate further.
Okay, all right, dude. Like, this episode was legit crazy. I sat down to watch this episode at 6:23 p.m. Like, literally right before we were scheduled to start the episode.
Yeah.
Like, I flew through the episode. I skipped the intros. I jumped right in. This episode was crazy. Like, I was not expecting all the awesomeness that I saw on this episode. Like, it was legit. From the Dark Troopers to the Darksaber, Giancarlo
Esposito.
Somebody give this man an Oscar. Because this dude is freaking in everything he does. He was in The Boys, amazing. He was in The Mandalorian, amazing. Freaking my man who played Mando, he deserves a freaking Oscar. I can't think of his name.
Pedro Pascal.
Let's not forget Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, Esposito was also in Breaking Bad.
I forgot about Breaking Bad.
Gus
It's been
Fritz.
such a long time.
Word.
But yeah,
That was
dude,
when I got
like,
introduced to him.
like this show has honestly, it started off the series, not even the season. The series started off on a high, and it's just been escalating each and every freaking time. The last time we talked about the Mandalorian on this pod, it was the Ahsoka Tano episode, which blew everybody's freaking minds. And in this episode, when we saw the Jedi come through and we saw the X-wing, I was like, as soon as was it Bo-Katan? It was Cara Dune.
Wasn't it
Cara
Cara
Dune
Dune? Yeah.
was like, ooh, one X-wing, we're saved. And then they were saved. And I thought it was no lie, when I saw the X-wing, I legitimately thought, all right, cool. Like, it's Ahsoka, right? Because it's Bo-Katan, it's Ahsoka, like it's a thing, right? Nope, they swerved me. And then they swerved me again because I thought it was Sebastian Stan.
Imagine that would have been dope though.
Because everybody has been talking about having Sebastian Stan come in and play
a younger Luke Skywalker.
Young
young Luke Skywalker. And I was like, that would be dope. And then I saw him and I did a triple take. Because I swore that it was him, I guess because of all the times that you've seen him in fan casting and in like fan mock-ups.
It was definitely your mind wanting.
Oh yeah.
It was the wants. It was because
Absolutely.
the thing is, the moment that I saw him take it off, I was just like, wait. I was like, who is that? But I was like, then I noticed. I was like, oh, it's CGI Mark Hamill. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fine. But I was like, and then eventually I was still saying, I'm like, they could have done Sebastian. That would have been nice.
Yeah, they could
You know
have.
what I mean? But
And then Giancarlo Esposito not giving up and his performance through the whole thing, and then having Cara Dune like tap him out. I was like, yo, this is dope. This is dope. Officially, I'm not even gonna wait for everybody to certify. I'm gonna certify it right Now,
How dare you break the protocol? All right, send the trooper.
Hey, the Mandalorian broke the protocol. That's not me. Mando broke the protocol. All right, he even took his helmet off.
Hey. Well, in fairness, we talked about this too briefly. I don't think anyone looked at his face yet, besides Luke and Grogu. They were the only. Well, Mayfield, he went somewhere else, and he said he forgets his face. You know what I mean? He knew that. He was being respectful, and I'm just saying,
died.
like,
So it doesn't matter.
Mayfield. Yeah, you're right. He did die. He died on a mission. He blew up in the tanker. Wink, wink, right? And but it's like I think they are still. I think he just puts it right back on right away. You know what I mean? But no, I totally agree. It's this series is just something else. Is this a season? I didn't expect it to do so well.
Yeah, yep.
You know, they like now I can't wait to rewatch it from beginning to end, and that's including season 1.
Oh,
I want to
I'm
watch
doing the same thing.
everything. I want to have a fucking like honestly, I'm debating between if I'm going to stay with the family long enough on Christmas Day after watching Wonder Woman. I'm like, hey, we gotta watch all Mandalorian. I don't want to do anything else.
like now you can like watch it concurrently, like without any like pausing in between, having to wait week to week to see what's happening next. Oh, such a thrill
just
ride.
like binging it all in one sitting. Definitely, I can't wait. I'm gonna rewatch it myself. I'm gonna put somebody else onto it. 'Cause I feel like there's more people that need to see this. Like even if you're not a Star Wars fan, I think the series is a great gateway to a new
Oh yeah, for sure.
series fans. You know?
It wasn't
totally.
it really wasn't a Star Wars series until this season. Like yes,
True.
technically in the name it was a Star Wars series. But essentially it's just been about been about the Mandalorian until what season 2 episode 5?
I'm trying to understand
Ahsoka
what you
showed
mean
up?
by a Star Wars series. What do you mean it's not a Star Wars
Well,
story?
because people
It's canon,
associate
but it would never have the main.
Well, he
It
said.
has Ahsoka and Luke.
when people talk about Star Wars, they think of Jedis. You know, nobody thinks
Well, that's
about
the problem.
stormtroopers
There's
or
only
anything
been
like that.
2. Well, that's the thing. Well, at least I can say, at least because I watched all the other stuff, I know there's a bigger universe besides just Jedi, Sith, and all that kind of stuff. And Rogue One proved that.
Of course,
Rogue One proved
absolutely.
it. We had no Jedi in there. We knew it until the very end, but that was just because of the timeline. So it's like
Right.
Rogue One proved that people want to see the universe. They don't just care about Jedi. So yes, when we see one in there, it's it's that Leonardo DiCaprio like meme from from the movie. That one, like, oh, there it is. That is that moment. That's what you're seeing when you get a Jedi. You're like, because again, I thought I didn't expect them to give Luke up because I didn't think that Grogu was going to leave him so soon either. I thought they were going to give him another half of another season at least, and then all of a sudden, and then mind you, again, everybody kept on speculating. We were like, was it going to be Luke or not? Because we're like, we know the time works, but is he actually going to get him? So we still assume Ahsoka would come to save the day, just knowing like he was in trouble.
Here's the thing. Does introducing Luke to the Mandalorian ruin the Mandalorian TV show in the long term?
Well, I don't
No.
think so, because you're not. I mean, if you were to include, or if you're gonna push Mando to the side and then focus on the Jedi like Ahsoka and Luke trying to rebuild or whatever he's trying to do with Grogu, then yeah, it'll be a little detriment in the long run. But if you're still gonna focus on the actual Mandalorians, given how the season ended, where he has the Darksaber in his possession, so theoretically, by law, he's the rightful person for the throne of Mandalore.
rule.
And obviously, we know the stipulation and the rules of that. If Bo-Katan wants it back, at least
beat him.
according to Moff Gideon, she got to kill him for it. So there's
No,
more
no, no.
story to tell.
No, she just has to beat him.
Well, I'm saying according to Moff Gideon, she has
But
to. kill
Moff
him.
Gideon's still alive.
No. He still has to. She just has to win.
She just has to beat him.
Moff Gideon lost to Mando. Now Mando
Yeah.
is the rightful wielder,
But then this kind of causes like a conflict of interest because maybe Mando, being that he's seeking the rest of the Mandalorian, might actually want to wield the dark saber, and then Bo-Katan might have to be like a direct, like opponent of his at some point in the battle for Mandalore, and like how that's gonna unwrap. I feel like in future series, there's definitely gonna be some more digging into the Mandalorian race or creed rather, because it's not a race, it's a creed.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, right off the bat, like when you watch Clone Wars, when you finally get into that, you'll get a little taste of that in the season. You'll get a taste of their culture. And then the Darksaber is a whole different thing because the Creed doesn't really talk about it. The Creed knows that they fought Jedi, but the Creed is just the Creed. They're the ones that wanted to keep the helmets on and keep it as the Spartan race because they're essentially
the
Spartans.
Watch.
That's the Dark Watch. You know what I mean?
Death Watch.
The Death Watch or the Watch. They call them the Watch. Yeah. So it's like, by the way, Ev is looking over her notes. She has a freaking notebook of notes. I'm just throwing it out there right now. I fucking love this.
That's awesome. Like that.
I love it. No, I was looking. I was like, why are you looking to the left so much?
First of all, disclaimer.
High five her from me. High five her. High five her from me. All right.
We're in the same room, but we're recording different ways. Don't judge us. All right, and it's time for.
I did my homework.
It's time for Purell. I'm just saying, keep it COVID, right?
Should I just lick my hand to directly contrast that?
Well, sanity. Make sure you sanitize.
I'm gonna just like take it to the head and just drink all the
Oh my god.
But just as a disclaimer for you and everybody else who's listening, I'm like probably the least knowledgeable out of the group, so please, you can roast me if you want, but I'm just going to be honest. I don't know everything, so that's why I had to take notes. But I did do my homework this time.
No, stop. No. See, and we've said this plenty of times. We also cater to the people that don't know much. So it's like we just happen to know more from prior stuff. That's all it comes down to. It's not a big deal. We just know that if you have a passion for it, you love it, you're enjoying it, I hope you guys listen to it and you enjoy these conversations.
And in order to become a Jedi, you have to be a Padawan, and I'm in my Padawan stage. Eventually get to Jedi Master, but we're not there yet, so.
It takes time.
Take your time.
Listen, I honestly don't think we have any Jedi Masters on our council.
No.
Because I can guarantee you there's people out there right now who are listening to us and saying, how dare you not mention this book and that book and this character and all these other things. Listen, guys, we love you.
Or the current comic book runs and shit like that.
We love you. We appreciate you. Please keep listening to us. But just know that we know what we know.
Yeah, and then also know that you should just comment on the videos and on the actual podcast, so we know that you know, and then we can exchange ideas. But back to what you just said. But that's a perfect example. From the Darksaber, right? But like that's a whole new thing, right? But in Legends, right? Because that's one of the books, is like in Star Wars Legends, right? No, I'm saying no. It's called Star Wars Legends.
You're right. No, keep going.
You just started laughing. I'm like, just because I said legend, I was like, no, it's Star Wars Legends. But although, so with that because remember, so here's one of my worries, right? It's that people are thinking that the introducing Luke could change the course of the whole series, right? But it's also because a lot of people don't like episodes 7, 8, 9, right? And a lot of people are still talking about completely removing them and starting a whole new cinema universe to it because of the fact that like now Mandalorian is starting from like, they want to still keep Rogue One and 4, 5, 6, everything that happened during the shows like Mandalorian and all that, and making that more canon than when Rey shows up, and then that's kind of sucky. But then they're like, this is something more closely related to what the books did. The books grew a whole different type of mythos for these characters, but they did focus more on Luke, Leia, Han, and them. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want to see too much more of them because obviously we know we don't have the original actors as much right there in the same capacity. You know what I mean? Just to do it justice. But I would like them to still piece together everything that like they're trying to do right now to get to episode 7. That's what I'm like what I'm really thinking about and everything. But that's my only worry.
Like a general reset of the series because of 7, 8, and 9.
A lot of people aren't happy with the Rey story. They want to see that just kind of get pushed to the side.
And just to tie into the Darksaber thing, I was like in my research, I heard that Grogu and Din Djarin actually have their own clan under the Mandalorian rule called Clan Mudhorn. So I do feel like this isn't the end for Grogu and Din Djarin, and I also feel like this is also like an entryway into the history of the Mandalorian. Because I feel like it might go into the Ahsoka series, and like maybe branch into that more, because I know Bo-Katan's going to be directly involved, and it's already confirmed that Mando's going to be in the Ahsoka series. So I feel like there's going to be a lot more interweaving storylines, and then with like Acolyte and the Squadron thing coming out, they're just trying to like scratch off the whole Rey thing and delve into the series, like what you were saying.
Okay.
I do feel like they're just trying to explode on the scene with series and episodic ways of breaking it down, because it's such a vast universe that you can't just squeeze it into a couple movies out of context. Like, you need to like take your time with it, and I think this is them taking that opportunity to like slow down and really get to know each character and like, really dive into the universe even further.
Yeah, I don't think they'll erase those 3 movies entirely, at least the story at least. But I do think, at least what we've seen from this season on, they are doing some retcons and kind of fixing, or at least tying those loose ends that they didn't really explain in those 3 movies. Or just, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened behind the scenes, which obviously made that trilogy a whole disaster, for lack of a better word. But it's the exception of The Force Awakens, because I personally like that movie. But I think it's more of doing that. Would I want them to completely erase that story? No. It's there. It's canon. Can you go back and kind of fix and rework things and retcon certain things as you go? I would be more acceptable of that as opposed to just wiping that entire history. Because we've already seen it. The movies have been out for like the past 5 years. It's like, why even go through all that trouble? Honestly, you know what I'm saying?
I also think they're gonna tie Kylo Ren into this, like, ultimately. I think it's gonna maybe somehow tie into the larger story, but I don't know.
I really hope not. I really hope not.
They're part of the canon.
All right. Well, see, like, all right, I think I was talking about this, right? It's that, okay, first off, I said, I'm pretty sure the people will revolt the moment that they find out that Grogu was a part of the Jedi Temple that, he helped destroy. And if Grogu is dead because of this fire that Kylo helped start, people probably would be like, oh, fuck this. No, that's not fair. Blah, blah. He's not even a part of the same thing.
No, because people don't even like Grogu. Remember,
people already calling this.
I like him.
He killed the fishes. Remember, the frogs.
The frog tadpoles.
He eats food, okay? They're still food. We eat calamari, we eat caviar, we do the same thing.
Yeah, okay, you eat calamari, but do you eat mon calamari? No.
What?
No, you don't.
Mon calamari, what?
The race, the mon calamari.
Mon calamari. That's what they're really called?
That's what they're called.
He was eating the frogs.
I'm just saying. Eddie was talking about calamari, so I was just...
so you just added Mon.
Yeah,
so Mon plus calamari. So the frogs were called Mon?
That's a race, yeah. The Mon calamari. That's the guy who's like, he sits on the chair and he's like, it's a trap. Yeah, he's a Mon
Admiral
calamari.
Akbar.
Listen, I know you guys said don't do drugs, but you have to be doing drugs to be making a series like this and come up with this kind of...
But not just any drugs. You
I know
have to be doing...
Happened during the 70s, yo.
A whole bunch of acid being taken. Like, it's crazy.
Maybe some mushrooms.
Maybe some shrooms, too.
He literally went to space with whatever he was taking. That's how he found out about all of these races. I just have to say that.
That's how we found out about the Mon calamari.
He was like just tripping over
It's a trap.
calamari.
He was like, this is a race. They're speaking. But
That's
so
funny, man.
oh no, you were gonna say go. Oh, I thought Ozzy was gonna go with more.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, Ozzy, you were gonna say something? No,
I completely forgot. To be completely honest with y'all,
Okay.
I'll be honest. I forgot.
Like,
Can I also say something else?
yeah,
Go
please.
for it.
No, I'm just saying. I know you guys are hating on Kylo Ren being tied into this, but they're coming out with a Lando series. They're coming.
Oh, see, there you go. Now you brought it back.
you
Go ahead,
know,
I'll let you finish.
I just feel like Moff Gideon's gonna come back. Lando's gonna come into the series, and then Lando is directly related to Han Solo's story, so I'm sure they're gonna bring that back, tied into this young Luke. And then Han Solo's gonna have his son. Maybe it won't be Adam Driver, but I do feel like it's eventually gonna ultimately lead into that arc. Possibly take it further and maybe like introduce new characters. Because they're saying like all the series that are coming out for Star Wars, I mean, it's gonna lead into a big cinematic event, and I could see it tying all of this together really neatly.
So yeah, so going back to the whole Kylo Ren thing and people not wanting the connection to be there, if while not confirmed at least in this episode and not confirmed in none of the sequel trilogy films, knowing that Luke tried and ultimately failed at restarting the Jedi Order with new Padawans and stuff, who became the Knights of Ren, and then that's how you get Kylo Ren and all that crap.
Kylo Ren, honestly, the Knights of Ren still got the worst fucking. That's my biggest pet peeve of
They
the
didn't get
fucking
anything.
movies. But
They didn't get anything. They got mentioned.
They
and then
were,
that
See,
was
my-
it.
the thing is, they were cool. They were cool.
They were so
especially when
fucking
you got especially when you seen them in Rey's vision.
Which never comes to anything.
And
Yep.
that's the thing. That's the problem.
Well,
The
it's because
films.
they kept. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
no, that's all right. The films,
Sorry.
the thing that's the problem. The films weren't cohesively connected, and then there were a lot of loose ends that they never tied together. So what Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have been doing, it be Bob the Builder, Mr. Fix-It from Wreck-It Ralph or whatever his name is, and fix and connect everything cohesively.
Fix it, Felix.
Fix it, Felix. There you go. Thank you, Miguel.
I got you.
Thank you.
I got
That's,
you.
that's Dynamo right there. You got me. I forgot the names.
Look at these dads! I swear.
I still haven't
Can't
watched.
keep parenting out of the
I
basement.
still haven't
can't.
watched.
Parenting
Real
is
fatherly
the
right
thing,
now, and
guys.
I'm not here for it.
I really want
Hey,
to.
so,
Does anybody
so
watch Spies in Disguise? Because I really want to watch that.
Now you're just taking it too far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's stick on the topic, bro.
let's
Come
put pause
on.
that. But yeah, I mean, either way, if whether they do it or don't do it, Star Wars fans are gonna be annoyed by it. There's already controversial takes on social media about this finale. That's just how Star Wars fans are at this point. They will never be happy and they will never be satisfied with, even if they get what they want to get.
It's not Star Wars fans. That's fans
It's
in
Star
general.
Wars fans.
Because
You can't make
It's
everybody
fans in
happy.
general, but Star Wars fans.
like no matter what happens, like there's going to be groups of people who are like, oh, this is great, and then there's going to be groups of people who are haters who are like, no, this sucks. It does. Nobody has to be right, but if you don't like it, stop watching. Like you don't need to you don't need to dress down the people who do watch it or the people who do enjoy it or the creators who are just putting forth their creative vision. Like if you don't like it, that's totally acceptable. Stop watching.
So one question I do have is a huge question. So like I said, we never really got the in between. So of Luke really starting the Jedi Order again, or at least trying to. Do we officially take him taking in Grogu as the start of that? And if we do,
it's like a way to start fresh.
well, just give of Disney and Kathleen Kennedy and Star Wars, Lucasfilm as a whole, trying to fill in that gap and kind of bring it into live action. Like, would this be that starting point? And why haven't we seen or heard of Grogu ever in any of the films if he was theoretically alive through all this time? Other than
That's what
him
I was-
going in hiding until he met Mando.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to happen that way. I think they're going to end up saying Grogu was the first one, and then the reason why he wasn't in that temple was because he went away to get more training or do something different.
Did he reach Jedi Master that fast?
I don't think Master. I wouldn't say
a worthy, or at least like a general or something.
Jedi Knight. There it is.
Or
That's the
Jedi
term.
Knight.
I think he becomes a Jedi Knight.
Passed? Or
Well, think about it. It's at least. Fuck. I want to say it's at least 10 to 15 years for Force Awakens.
Right. So, I mean, that's 10 to 15 years. That's enough time for him to become a Jedi in his own right. But I honestly, I hear what you're saying, and I don't think that happens. I think what happens is Luke senses the same darkness in him that Ahsoka senses, and gets to a point and says, you either have to give up your darkness or we can't continue. And he's like, all right, well, peace out. I'm going to go see my dad. And we're going to go, we're going to go be Clan Mudhorn, and I'm going to be the Mandalorian.
He's been waiting.
That Mandalorian.
Thank you.
I'm with that.
Thank you, Ozzy.
I support that.
Miguel's been pushing that agenda. Pushing that agenda for a minute. So.
Now there's two.
Oh,
so
God.
you managed to convince Ed.
Now there's two of us.
No, listen.
I can see Clan Mudhorn being a thing. I do really believe that it somehow will revert back to maybe Grogu stubbornly returning back to Mando, despite the fact that Mando gave permission for Luke to take him. He has this connection with Mando that I feel like will always be there. And then with Mando in the possession of the Darksaber, I feel like there's like so much that will develop between the time that they're separated that somehow they'll get back.
So do you think, Ed, this is more of a question guided towards you, since you watch Clone Wars and all that stuff. Obviously, I'm not that deep into the show just yet.
Yes, you watched it too, but
I'm kidding. Go.
Maybe
I was doing it to the people who are watching me on my camera.
Miguel's there is like,
how long you been waiting to play another sound effect?
For a while now.
I was waiting for him to play the Microsoft sound for me because I'm like, what? Star Wars,
no, yeah, I haven't found the need to play for you yet. You've been coming in with the facts. You wrote down notes.
got
she
a
was
book,
like, I'm
bro.
not getting
She
the
literally
soundbite
has 3
today.
pages worth.
No, so,
3 pages at least.
so-
What's the question? What we got? Because if
the
anything, maybe
Darksaber
Miguel might be
goes all
able
the
to
way
answer
back
too.
to, if I'm not mistaken, I was correct
Wait,
if
time
I'm
out.
wrong.
I can't hear you.
The very
It keeps on
first
cutting out on my
Mandalorian.
audio. Hold on one sec. Hold on.
He can't hear you. His AirPod is dying.
Oh my God! Again.
Oh, did you do what I told you last time? Were you swapping them?
I've been trying to swap them. No, it's actually been cutting out for some reason. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know if it's just because you're sharing the Wi-Fi with me or whatever, but it's like
Really? Can you hear me now?
everybody's
though?
cutting out. I hear you now.
See,
Yeah.
he was
Okay.
talking shit about how I couldn't set my audio up, but he don't even got his headphones working.
Yo, this is the legit
whatever.
100 episode, and it really is a party.
It really is a party. We're all over the place. So
I'm only a couple beers in, so we need more.
we do need more.
do
So
this.
with Mando
Right.
now having the
Oh my God,
dark
and he popped
saber,
out.
right?
Yeah,
can hear me?
Dark Saber. I heard you now. Say the first part again.
So Mando
With
has the
Mando-
dark saber now. Okay.
Yes, correct.
All right. So if I'm not mistaken, the dark saber was in possession of one of the very first Mandalorians. Am I right or am I wrong?
So he was a part of the very first. He was the first Mandalorian ever inducted into the Jedi Order, and that was his Jedi saber that he created.
Okay. So you think they find ways to dive into that lore, whether it be season 3 and forward, now that Din Djarin has the saber, and then with Bo-Katan trying to get it back still.
Yeah, I'm really hoping it does, because that's how I see the next season. I see the next season him going to actually, because remember, here's the funny, remember, he's a foundling. He's never seen Mandalore ever. He doesn't know the state of it. He doesn't know anything of the sort. He didn't even know that there was the current people living there took off their helmets.
Well, he called Mandalore a curse, didn't he? He said, because when Bo-Katan said that she wanted to go to Mandalore back in, I want to say, episode 3 of season 2, then Djarin goes, you want to go to Mandalore? Why? It's a cursed planet. Why would anybody want to go there?
because that's what he was taught. You know what I mean? In the creed, it was a matter of like what he's been fed forever. And think about it, they're a cult. They're still a cult. As good as they are, you know what I mean? To an extent, they hold on to certain traditions that were primal. You know what I mean? Like forever, whatever, one reason or another. You know, right?
Speaking of primal, does anybody wonder what happened to the armor? Can we bring her back?
I don't know what happened to her.
Oh, the armor. I remember they went back into hiding. I hope she comes back. She was a badass.
She was
dope. She took.
Remember
back
season
back
one?
in season 1, the one who was mounting the
gold?
Beskar for him.
They made
Like
him
the
a new
mom.
suit.
Wait.
Remember gold armor? She was in gold. That's all it took. That's all it took.
That's it. It's perfect timing.
I've over my CPU just overheated.
For real.
I don't remember the golds.
In season one when they were back on Navarro, Din Djarin he would keep going back down into like the pit where the other Mandalorians were, and he would meet up with an armor who was also dressed in Mandalorian garb, who would melt the Beskar, and she would give him not advice,
Oh, right,
but
and she
would,
died
essentially
defending him,
upgrades.
right?
yeah, well, she didn't die.
Oh.
She said, I'm gonna hold them off, and we don't know what happened, but we know she was badass, and like she has to make it out. This is the way.
Back. Yes, this is the way. Okay, I
the
remember
way.
now. I did
This
think
is
she was
the
badass.
way.
She was like very Viking-like. I did like her. I hope they bring her back.
Right? Like
you.
it would
Thank
be
you for
it would
bringing
be
it
dope to see her on Mandalore, like building armor, and like when people take off their helmet, she's like, whoa, that's not the way. Put your helmet
Get off
back
my
on.
planet.
This is the way. That'd be dope. I'm just saying.
I think it. Well, I don't know how far. I think that's actually a big deal too. I think he's going to end up being found by them, or he's going to find them again, because that was part of the problem. He was like, he didn't know where they went. That was one of the biggest issues. They were like, he was like, I don't know where they've gone. They went into hiding since the moment that at the at that town that they blew up and all that kind of
Navarro.
stuff. Yeah, whatever.
So this ties into me thinking about how they're going to find more Mandalorians. Like that's his ultimate goal. Like he does want to find them. So I think that's gonna open up a whole can of worms about where this badass is and all of her relatives.
They're on Mandalore, waiting for Bo-Katan to show up with the Darksaber.
After she tries to beat Mando and then Mando shows up, like,
I'm actually more excited to see the fight between her and Moff Gideon. I want to see how fair of a fight it was, or if he straight up did beat her.
You think Moff Gideon gets away?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I think he'll find a way.
Totally. I think totally. And I also think he threw the fight.
Purposely.
He did it
think
on purpose.
so?
Yeah, he did it because he knew their customs. He knew that he knows the. Well, he knows he was putting his work in. He just.
I know.
But he did like it looked like Mando did get his or Jin he's himself. He did get the better of him, but I think in an overall fight, he's more than capable of beating other people.
Well, and while I agree that he is more than capable of beating other people, when he looked at Mando and said, "You're gonna spare me," he sounded surprised. So I fully think that he expected Mando to kill him based on the creed, and so he was surprised. So I don't think he threw the fight. I think he expected to win.
Well, the only reason why Mando kept him alive was because of the fact that Bo-Katan told him.
Bo-Katan wanted the Darksaber and
But
wanted him alive.
but she wanted it, but she never gave him the specifics. Like, I must beat him in a fight. Please do not fight him if possible. And again, but this is what.
Even the look on her face when she realized that she had to fight Mando, she was even like, damn, he's a little formidable. And also, Moff Gideon ain't shit. I think he's like a super evil genius, but I don't think he could beat anybody in a fight.
Agreed.
I just think he he had a whole army of dark troopers. Like, he knows he can't defend himself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's definitely no Luke Skywalker. Me and Ebony are right here.
I don't know. I feel like he did put in some work. Like you could see he did have some type of sword training because he did hold his own at least for the first like minute
with the
of
dark
that fight.
saber, which is notoriously powerful. I'm sure if he had a regular saber, I don't even think.
Well, I'm just saying because also Mando is like fucking covered head to toe with some of the strongest armor that can actually deflect a saber. That's a lightsaber.
He was using that Beskar staff, and that shit was about to get burnt because you saw that
It was about to break.
marks. There was points where I think if he fought him enough with the dark saber, if he was a good sword wielder, he could have probably got Mando.
You know what? It's just, all right. My next one. Okay.
So, moving on.
And that's exactly. Wait, no. Honestly, you actually gave me a whole thing of like you just like proved my point. He had him at certain points. You know what I mean? Like the moments that he was like putting more strain onto the metal. All he had to do was put a little bit more time. And so on and so forth, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Keep going. I gotta attend to something real quick.
Go ahead. I really do think that he expected to kill Mando. Like he knew that if he lost to Mando, he would lose the child, and he was unprepared to lose the child. So I fully believe that his loss was not intentional on his part. He legitimately lost, but he was happy that he lost because he knew what was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So
he already got Grogu's blood, so that's ultimately what he wanted.
Yeah, which is also another big thing too, because it's like now we have to worry about did the blood go somewhere else or did it stay on the ship? You know what I mean? Because as much of a guy that Moff is, that he keeps things to the chest, because you could tell he didn't want to spread things out. That's why he stayed everything on his one ship and all that kind of stuff. But it's also like, what if he did his due diligence and actually sent it out further? Why not? Like, why wouldn't he? You know what I mean? It's just like kind of.
Where would it go? Who does he report to? That's my question. Like, who is above him in the Empire right now? Because there's nobody there. Grand Admiral Thrawn, maybe?
Thrawn is the...
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so Thrawn, at least we know Ahsoka knows that he's out there in the Outer Rim, right? But I can even still say that maybe it's probably Palpatine. Maybe Palpatine is like sending messages over there, or maybe it's the First Order. The First Order still is in play until they tell us otherwise.
That's true. That's true.
You know?
And I don't remember the name of that other dude. The one who Kylo Ren was reporting to. His version.
Snoke? Oh, Snoke. Yeah.
Snoke. So it's definitely like it's definitely not gonna be Palpatine. I definitely don't believe that he's back to Palpatine.
I think they said Palpatine only told maybe 3 or 4 high-ranking officers, and then he told them, listen to Snoke, because Snoke speaks for me.
But if Palpatine ties into the larger story, wouldn't that help include Thrawn? Because doesn't Thrawn answer to Palpatine?
Well, Thrawn is already in it. Like, Ahsoka's already made that point. But Thrawn is way too far out into the Outer Rims, because what ends up... spoiler for anybody that hasn't...
Ezra, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So Ezra was able, he found a species that did a natural light speed, and he trapped earmuffs. Miguel, I don't want you to, because you haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, I know, but does Ezra join Thrawn? Because I know Ezra and Thrawn go at it, and in order for Ezra to save his boy, and in order for Ezra to save his master.
Yeah.
He dives in with Thrawn.
Yeah.
Into, through the portal.
Well, yeah, essentially. So he forced the species to do the light speed. You know what I mean? Thrawn and him went together. That's what I'm trying to say. But now, are they still together? No one knows.
Well, I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
something they'll explore in the Ahsoka series, which we'll talk about
I hope.
later, obviously. So,
Really hope. I'm actually disappointed that Sabine never made an appearance when they were
I heard
speculating.
today that they're
But she will,
coming. They're
though.
coming season 3, maybe.
Okay, fair,
Maybe
fair
season
enough.
3, maybe Ahsoka in the Ahsoka series. Nothing's concrete or confirmed. Just know that.
Based on what
I
I've
heard.
read, I feel like she'll appear in the Ahsoka series, and then they're just gonna continue to open this up more. So
Mhm.
I think it's just gonna be like Ahsoka series is gonna be a limited series, but they're gonna bring her into the bigger universe. And
So I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good for one-offs, limited series. Maybe a season or 2, short episodes. I guess I mean, there's obviously more questions. We can spend another hour on this, but we'll move on
Easily.
and rate the season. Like Miguel said at the start, Nerdified certified for me, to be honest. This
Just get
episode
7 stars,
solidified it.
bro. 7 stars.
You gonna break the
stars.
5-star scale?
Why not?
This is the way.
This is the
This
way.
is the way. This is how.
Word
This
up.
is how you do a season finale. To be completely honest, this is how you do it.
Hey, does anybody have
On
the
par.
rating scale to show it to Ebony?
We got 5.
somewhere-
It's 5 stars. Just 5 stars.
Is-
Okay.
well, for me, who is still like newer to the Star Wars world, I would still give it a 5 out of 5. I'd give it a fucking 7 just for the fact of its cinematic quality. John Favreau giving it justice with Dave Filoni, just doing such a great job overall. Casting Pedro Pascal, casting Juan Giancarlo, like just overall, like they did a great job with it as a series. Like even if I wasn't aware of Star Wars in general, I think it would be a good watch. So I'd recommend it to anybody, especially a Star Wars fan.
Okay.
Notified certified for me.
Notified,
Nice.
certified all around.
And I already certified it, but I'm gonna give it a 6-star because I have my girl Sasha Banks in there for 2 episodes.
2 episodes. And a huge shout out to Peyton Reed, director of the Ant-Man trilogy, who directed
Did the finale,
this season
right?
finale.
Yep.
A lot of people be kind of crapping on his directing, but holy shit was this episode epic.
Word.
It was
It's
on
fucking
point.
awesome.
Chef.
It was
Epic.
on point.
Epic.
And we
Which
ain't even touch on the post-credit scene, and
No,
nobody.
we'll talk about that later because that's part of
Nobody
the news.
even mentioned Boba Fett.
That's
Like,
news, bro. That's news.
part
We
of
talked about
news.
Boba
That's
Fett the
part
other
of news,
episode.
because that technically was news.
mean,
After
yeah.
you got that
I'm just
epic
saying
ass finale, you know what I'm
that's
saying?
fine. I mean, listen, I'm with it. I'm with it.
I'm just
Hands up.
saying.
Hands up, I'm with it.
Let's do it, guys. We're moving on.
We're moving on.
Love it.